Hey guys, in this video we're going to add the supplier features in the app. So let's start with adding the supplier. So currently in our navbar, you can see if I click in any of these supplier menus, it won't redirect me. So let's add or update our sidebar PHP. Then here we can capture or update the href. So let's add first supplier. So here let's not product but supplier, add that PHP. We refresh, and if we get or click the add suppliers, you can see it's redirected, but since we still don't have that file, we need to create it first. So let's just copy the user's ad, since we'll be using the same, well, not the same, but the fields or forms, it's better to use the product ad. We'll copy, then paste, and supplier add that PHP. So if we refresh, it should give us the page, but it's, since this is from the product, we need to update some of these. So here we have the title of the page, which is this one. Let's try to refresh that one, add supplier, then here sidebar, top navigation, create product. So it will be create supplier, and then we have the supplier name. Now let's go to our inventory, see the fields that we set for the suppliers: so name, location, email address, email address, supplier name, then we'll have location, and the email address. So now we can update the type or the attributes for each of the fields. If you remember, in our product add.php, we have this rule that we need to implement every time there is an adding of product. We need to make sure that the field name inside, especially the name attribute, will be the same value or the column name in our database. So in our supplier add here, as you can see, we have supplier name, so this should be supplier name. Then let's update this one. We have the location, so supplier location, as you can see here. Description, I'm sorry, supplier location, and then here supplier location, but this should be an input Same with the supplier name. And let's just remove this text area of fresh name location, and then email. We can just copy and then remove this one. Then let's update the values. It should be the email. Let's remove that class product supplier email. Then here we'll remove the product image since we don't have that for now. Location, then email address. So I think this is enough. Next is we need to update our database. And so if you remember, we have single file for adding the data to our database. So we have here a dynamic insert script depending on which table or data that we are adding. So the same process, we need to have the table columns. So here let's just set the different tables or columns we use. So here we need to have the suppliers as our main key or our key, and then here we have the let's try to change the structure so we can easily copy the name, supplier location, email. So created by, created, do you have the updated at created by. So now if we bottom the columns, if we try to refresh add supplier name California, that's gmail.com, create, as you can see here we have the different the columns for the suppliers table. So what we need to do is, here we have the session user, so it's creating or pulling the data, and then here it should remove or return the DB array, which will be the mapping of the fields and its value. So if we refresh, so we have identified index image on line 21, so let's fix that one. So here if we bottom the table name and as you can see it returns the product, so we need to remove that one. We'll need to update this, so we have the table name, session table, so it will be suppliers. So if we refresh, that would be still a product, so let's just remove and go back to this page. So the supplier the product, so it's now using the suppliers. So let's try to bottom the columns. Here we have the supplier name, location, email, address. So now this should display as the details or the values. Supplier location, as you can see, this one should be, so in our supplier ad we need to update it to this one. So, or we can edit here, since this is, since our database we set the incorrect. Let's save. Then also here, so if we refresh, it should capture the value of the supplier location. So now it's working fine. Created by, okay. So here we can, so he'll have the table name for this connection, then it's add here for supplier. So let's try to refresh, see if this works. So it's successfully added to the system. However, it is returning to the product ad. It should redirect to, so we have this redirect to. It should be on the supplier ad.php. So let's try to add a supplier, and then here let's see supplier 123 test 123 location, and here the supplier 123@gmail.com. we create, as you can see, successfully added to the system. So here we can check in our table, as you can see, that the supplier which we first added, and then here the recent supplier that we added. And let's check in our view product and see if we can pull these suppliers. As you can see here, we have the test supplier 123. Let's see if this will work. Update, see if this will set to the new suppliers. As you can see, the supplier 123, and then here the view add product, we have the test supplier and the supplier 123. So here, as you can see, our code breaks. This should be 100%. This should cover the whole vertical sidebar, so we'll just fix that one later. So now we have the add supplier feature. Now we are going to view the supplier data, or pull all the suppliers in our system and display it inside the view supplier navigation. So in our sidebar we need to update the href. Should be supplier view.php. Let's refresh. View supplier. So as you can see, it's an error since we haven't created the file yet. Now we need to duplicate the product view. And here, supplier view.php. So if we refresh, it should get all the products. Now we'll just need to update the content. So here, show table, since we have a single file for showing or getting or pulling the result from the tables, we just need to update this one, make this to suppliers. Of course, this one, this product will be suppliers. Here in our titles, you see it's view products, it will be view suppliers. And then let's see list of suppliers. Let's refresh. So now we have an undefined value variable 43 products. Since we remove it, we'll need to use the suppliers variable. But before that, let's update this one. So we have the created by, created at, updated at, also we have the action. Now we need to do is update, set it to supplier name, supplier location, then here the contact details, which is an email address. So let's just remove this. Then here we have change to supplier, then here supplier name. So instead of an image, it will be supplier, and the name in our database. Refresh, as you can see, we have one Facebook. So if you're wondering what we are pulling, I mean the content of the suppliers, this give us an array. So let's try to broaden this, so we have an idea of what data are we pulling. So we have here the data, and then these are the suppliers, and these are the fields. It's an array, a multi-dimensional array. So here we have the supplier name, the location, so we'll just copy this one. For now, let's remove the class, we don't need it yet. So it should be location, and here the email address. Then here we have the suppliers list. So here we can, instead of the supplier, we can display list of products set to the supplier. So for now, let's just insert products set. So here we need to add a new detail, should be products. This column will show us the list of products set to that user, or set to that supplier, or list of products set to that supplier. So here actually we can echo that here, supplier list, sorry, let's just work on playing the list of products. So here let's just update, this will be product list. here the PID should be the supplier ID. Then here this product will be supplier ID. So we have the statement supplier name. So instead of supplier name, we'll have the product name. So let's see what data or columns we use. So it's a product name. From suppliers should be products, the product supplier. Here we have the product supplier that it should be supplier equals the supplier ID. Product supplier that, so the product is equals to products.id. So now this will turn a statement or rows of products. Then here it should be a product R, and then here the product name. Take note that this is the table name. Then here the product list will be set, not the product list. Yeah, I think we are good. Let's refresh. As you can see, Facebook Mexico. Let's remove that extra closing tag and count it as the product test. So we are good. Now we need to so we have just email, then here which is the products created by. So this is the created by column. So this product, it should be supplier. So on line 86, as you can see here, the list of views or the created by column is set in our table. Now we'll need to, so on line 86 we have the product. So here let's just update all of these to supplier, and then of course we don't have the product name, but we have the supplier name. You refresh, as you can see here we have displayed or pulled the data, displayed it in our table. That's just 96 line 9. This one, suppliers instead. So as you can see here, we have pulled successfully the list of suppliers in our system. So in our next video, we are going to the delete feature in our supplier module. So currently, as you can see, I click the edit. So product name is undefined. As you can see, it's suppliers, description, product name, the doc image. These are from the product editing dialog or product form. So we need to update this one, and also the delete feature, which is also we need to update it and delete it from the suppliers table and not inside the Facebook I mean products table. So see you on the next video.